Make Beauty.
Oh, dude, intros suck.
Yeah.
They're really hard.
Let's just get, no, I'm just kidding. Hi guys, I'm Carrie Barber, the owner and creative director of Make, and this is my friend Nikki. She's a celebrity makeup artist. We are actually friends, not internet friends.
In real life.
In real life,
we know each other.
We know each other through Susan Yara,
Yep.
who is a sister wife and a good friend of yours.
I mean, I consider her my sister too.
Yeah, I call her Beyonce, and I'm Solange. She's my older sister.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. Okay, so today, Nikki and I are going to talk through the most common, most asked questions that I get.
I love makeup questions. I get flooded with makeup questions.
First of all, the makeup you do is absolutely stunning and just so good, and it just looks so like appropriate to that person. It's still like intentional, and I also love all of your education. I mean, your YouTube.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think you do them on Sundays. You're like
I do my lives on Sunday.
Yeah. Okay, so the first question that I got when I put on Instagram that we were filming was how to create like a glowy base that lasts all day.
That's a really good question. There's a lot of mistakes when it comes to doing a glowy makeup look. I think that people can overdo it.
Yeah.
And you have to throw in balance and different layers of textures throughout a glowy makeup look. So you have like a makeup look that's actually going to stick to your skin and not just slide right off of it. Let's say you do a glowy serum, a moisturizer, and then you do like a glowy primer, and then you're putting a glowy tinted moisturizer on top. And then you're doing a glowy concealer, and then you're putting a cream blush on top of that, and you're mixing all these like wet layers that don't actually dry down on your skin. The combination of that means it's gonna be slipping on your skin throughout the day. It will look beautiful, like when you initially put it on.
Yeah.
Like you get that beautiful, like, wow, like I have like glass skin and it's like so fresh and hydrated, and then 2 hours later, it's a mess.
Yeah.
And then your mascara is running, and your eyeliner is running.
Yeah.
My best advice and my best tip is just to make sure you have enough balance throughout that makeup look. Make sure you're throwing in some powder.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid of powder. Even if you're going for a glowy makeup look, you should not be afraid to put some powder on, because you want those layers of like glowy product to actually stick to your skin.
Right.
And have balance. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
And also, if you just do too much glowy stuff, you run the risk of like enhancing your pores, like making your pores look bigger.
Yeah.
Like powder,
True.
you should not be afraid of powder. Like get a good, finely milled powder. Like hello, like the one from Make. And that will help
like
too.
This one?
Like that one. I brought mine too. This one is always in my makeup bag, like on the go. I love this powder.
I love this powder because first of all, it's so finely milled and translucent that it doesn't dim down my makeup. Because I would do like a full face and then I would set with the powder and I'm like, where's my makeup?
Yeah, like where's the glow? I just like took away all that glow.
Yeah.
It's just super important if you're doing a glowy makeup look that you have like, that you do like precision powdering.
Yeah.
So even for somebody like you have dry skin, right?
Yeah.
But still, you're gonna get more shine in your T-zone no matter what.
Yeah.
And like your nose and like a small area of like your inner cheek. This is like my favorite place to powder because we typically have bigger pores right here. And so if you have a lot of glowy products or like iridescent products, especially products with like hints of shimmer, it's just going to accentuate those pores even more. So if you do like a precision powdering technique where you leave the outer perimeter of your face, like the outskirts of your face, I like to call it, glowy, like, because you don't need powder in this area, especially if you're dry. Unless you're super oily, you want to leave this area just glowy and dewy.
Yeah.
Same with your forehead. It's just the center of your face. You want to throw some like precision powdering.
Yeah.
And that way you have balance.
Yeah.
So I think that's like the biggest tip for like a long-lasting glowy makeup look is don't think in terms of like every product that you put on your face has to be glowy or cream or dewy or wet. You have to throw in some layers of powder to give it balance and to give it like longevity.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just gonna fall right off your face.
Like,
Unless you're really, really dry, but even then, it's still gonna not be as long-lasting. Should we put some base on?
yeah.
I'm excited.
Me too. Okay, do you start with concealer or do you do like a...
I do base first.
Okay, so like diffusion do.
And I mix 2 of these colors to get like a custom shade.
Custom, love it.
So I do 6 and 2. Do you shake it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's actually a mistake that I see a lot too, is people don't shake their liquid products.
Yeah.
And you really have to shake it. How do you like to put your foundation on?
I like to put it on the back of my hand and then apply with this blender brush.
Ooh, I like that size.
And then sometimes like I'll go in and sort of like
stipple it.
yeah, kind of like refine and just diffuse it a little bit.
I actually love to use my fingers if I'm at home, because like I know I'm like, I can go wash the makeup off my hands like properly.
Yeah.
But if I'm on the go, like it's like either a beauty sponge or a stippling brush is like what I prefer to do. I'm using the little palette and just mixing those two shades. Where do you like to start with your foundation?
I like to do my cheeks, but I see that you are starting
I love you.
in your nose.
I actually have a tip, like where to start with your foundation, and it's something that I talk about just like a lot on my channel. You know, majority of us don't typically need a lot of coverage in the outer part of our face.
Yeah,
it's typically like the center where we have like the most redness, and I don't know about you, but like I have allergies. My nose is always like red, and in general I have like the most to cover in the center of my face. Under my eye, we're leaving that out of this conversation. That's a whole different story. Starting your initial makeup application, like your complexion products, in the center of your face, and then as you blend it, you work it out. And the reason for that is because, you know, your makeup will look better, in my opinion, if you start with the bulk of your like complexion products and your coverage in the center of your face, and then you work it out. And that way you don't get like that foundation line, like that jawline. Like let's say you don't have like a great or like an ideal color match with your foundation, because color matching is very hard. There's like so much to do with that, like endless tips on that. But so let's say you don't have like the best complexion match with your foundation, you're gonna really notice it as you get towards your jaw. And the reason for that too is our necks typically are much lighter than our faces, because when you're walking around, our faces, our heads are shading our neck. They're out there, but they don't get a lot of sun, you know?
It's like I've never.
It's not like you're like this sunbathing, right?
I walk around like this.
Do you? I should try it more often because my neck is very pale. If you're someone who doesn't want to bring their foundation down their neck, like for me personally, it's something I do on my clients as a makeup artist. I always bring their foundation down their neck, because when they're on camera, it's just something you don't want to risk seeing a color difference. Right. But for me personally, I actually hate the feeling of foundation on my neck.
Me too. I mean, I wear a lot of like button-down shirts or high neck shirts,
me too.
And it just is like, I don't want a makeup ring.
I don't want that either, and I don't want to risk it. So as you work your way out, the coverage gets lighter and lighter and more diffused. So then you don't really get that harsh makeup line.
I mean, I definitely had that in high school.
We're all guilty of it, you know? There's always times.
Like, Mom, you didn't want to maybe mention that it wasn't blended, or like 4 shades of blue eyeshadow is too many?
Could be, you know?
She was like, yeah, no, you go out.
Yeah, looking like that. Well, my mom let me go around in life without filling in my eyebrows, and that was not fair, so. I love the way this feels on my skin. It feels like just a really nice tinted moisturizer. I like this when I want to just even it out, and I think this skin tint has a little more pigment than a lot of skin tints. I agree. Foundation felt too heavy. I can't stand feeling makeup. I have ADD, and it's a very sensorial thing. Yeah. So like, I was that kid who was always itchy. I totally got that. Like, taking their clothes off. And, you know, like, so again, if I can feel it, it drives me nuts, right? Yeah. No one wants to feel like you have a mask of makeup on your face. Like that's like the worst feeling. Yeah. Makeup is not meant to like change you as a person. It's just meant to like enhance and like, you know, I feel like it's a big aid in confidence. So if you have like any like insecurities, that's how I started getting into makeup when I was a teenager. Like that was like what drew me to it. Was I was super insecure, and makeup was just like so fascinating to me. I was obsessed with black eyeliner when I was a teenager. Me too. Oh really? Like, I bet it looked bomb on you with your light eyes. Goth girl eyeliner. Have you met me? If you only knew like the stuff, like the concerts that my mom used to let me go to, not knowing. Oh, bless her. Bless her for not knowing what the heck I was doing, but I was obsessed with black eyeliner and mascara, and so like it made me feel so pretty, and like not to get like super deep, but like I didn't feel pretty, you know? And so like eyeliner was like, I put it on, I was like, I was a badass like when I put it on. It made me feel so grown up too. And like, you know, I was an athlete and I didn't wear a lot of makeup, but then I also didn't feel like cool or pretty in high school until I was actually an athlete, and everyone's like, oh my God. And I'm like, no. I remember you bullying me. You know, and like wasn't the popular girl, went to such a small school. But then once I got more confidence through athletics, and then I was like, oh, I'm actually like cute. Yeah. Like I can be cute. Yeah. And then I just did this with eyeliner. Like, I'll have to find a picture because it's kind of raccoony. Oh yeah, did you go like all inside? All inside. Me too, I used to do that when I was a teenager. And you know what that does? it makes your eyes look like they're this. Because it closes them up.
Yeah.
That's actually like a makeup mistake I've talked about before, is like just using a black eyeliner and not putting balance anywhere else. So like I'm talking like literally just doing black eyeliner all inside, top and bottom, but not balancing it with some eyeshadow in your crease and like an eyeshadow look to like also pull out and open your eye, because if you don't have that balance, it just looks really stark, you know, and it can just do the opposite of what you're trying to do. Most people align their eyes because they want their eyes to look bigger. They think like that's like the trick to do it.
Yeah.
But if you're not doing anything else to go with it, to give it balance, you're doing the opposite. You're just making your eyes look even smaller.
It was definitely a look.
Oh yeah, I did it too. I mean, I'm so guilty of that.
But that's how we learn.
Yeah. And spiky, overly done mascara. I mean, I used to do like 15 coats of mascara because I'm like, if I do one more coat, my eyes are gonna be even bigger and prettier.
And
it's like tarantulas on my eye. Flaking off throughout the day. But you know what made me stop doing that? One of my absolute best friends in life, years ago, he called me Tammy Faye. And I didn't know who that was. So I had to Google Tammy Faye, but I played it off like, oh, whatever, like Tammy Faye, like I don't care. So then I Googled Carrie Faye and I saw the mascara and I never did it again.
Yeah. You're like, oh.
He'd be like, okay, Tammy Faye, like chill on that mascara. I actually really needed that criticism, so I appreciate it.
Yeah.
It was constructive in a really funny way.
To evolve. Okay, should we do concealer?
Yeah, let's do it.
The most questions I get is about shade matching. It's hard because to me it's very nuanced and also very personal. So I usually choose a shade that's a little bit lighter than my actual skin tone because I want to brighten. And at the same time, I use concealer everywhere. Like I use it as my foundation basically, and doing like the lifting that I learned from TikTok. And
I love that.
It's so effective.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. For lifting your features, 100%.
When
Have
I
you
did
done
it
like
the
the lip
first
one?
Oh yeah.
That's like the best.
When I did it the first time, I was like, oh.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like,
Well, and you have such great bone structure too that like you do. She's got like model bone structure. For real.
Take credit. My genetics.
I'll send credit to your mom.
Yeah.
But yeah, like if you just do like little precision highlighting just to like further lift up those features and like carve them out. Oh my God.
It's so easy and so effective.
Yeah. And you don't need much of it too. Like just a little
Exactly.
like dots and then blending them.
Yeah.
As far as like matching goes, I think there's just a couple of really good easy tips. First of all, you need to go into it knowing your skin's undertone. If you don't know your undertone, it's gonna be so difficult.
Yeah.
Do you know how to find your undertone?
Well, I've learned.
Okay.
Because a lot of people will tell me their undertone. Before we launched Complexion, I was like, okay, how do you find your undertone? You know, and it was like jewelry or, you know, looking at like the color of your veins.
That's the most accurate in my opinion.
The veins.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's definitely the most accurate.
Mine are green.
Oh,
Usually
actually-
they're purple.
You might have both. See that? This is all blue.
Yeah.
And you have like some solid greens going on here.
Yeah.
So you're definitely a neutral.
happen.
And the more I looked at you too, like I think initially I was like, oh, you're a cool tone. But
Yeah.
the more I look at you, you're definitely like a neutral.
Yeah.
You have both going in for sure. It's so much easier for someone like you that has both. It sounds so creepy like to like talk about like veins, but it really is like the most accurate way of figuring out what your skin's undertone is. You can't tell, but I do have green veins in here. Somewhere, like around here, like you can see like I have green veins.
Yeah.
And it's actually one of the reasons why my black tattoos have a green hue to them.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
Isn't that crazy?
Oh, I never thought about
Yeah,
that.
so my skin, you know, like they started out jet black, like my t-shirt. And it's actually one of the reasons why I never did color tattoos.
Yeah.
Because I did one blue tattoo and it looked so, like my skin just ate up that blue pigment and it was gone. So I had to like go over it with, I actually had two blue tattoos that I went back over and made them black. But this used to be blue and now it has a hint of green because of my skin tone.
Wow. Mine's still pretty black.
Yeah, see, you're such a true neutral.
Yeah.
Like your skin has not changed it at all.
I'm so neutral.
But so, you are. So for Carrie, you'd want to look for foundations obviously that have like N in the title.
Yeah.
That they're gonna stand for neutral.
Yeah.
But I think one of the best ways, aside from, obviously you like figure out your undertone first, like that is your starting point. My best tip after that is the process of elimination. So if you, let's say you go to like a big makeup retailer and like it's an entire shelf of like 55 foundation shades and it's super daunting. You're like, well, where do I even start? Well, your next thing is to like determine, are you in the light range? Are you in the medium range? Are you in the dark range? Are you in the deep range? If you figure out like which one out of that categories you are, Then you're gonna go into that section of like the foundations.
Yeah.
And then from there, it's process of elimination.
Yeah.
You know, it's like swatching for 3 to 4, 3 minimum, but you wanna get your jawline and you wanna make sure that you're not swatching the top of your hand. This is completely inaccurate. Yeah. My hand is not the same color as my face, especially if you saw my face when it started out. It's close, but it's still not like the most accurate.
Yeah.
Because our hands get a lot of sun.
My hands look really white. Are they whiter than my face?
Do you work? Just kidding. I'm kidding. They're so pretty and delicate. Oh my gosh, mine are like tore up.
I sit inside all day, you know?
Yeah, that's good. So you probably could match your hand, but in general, it's not like the best way. You always want to look and bring it from probably like middle of your cheek is a good representation of like your true color. And you want to bring it all the way down past your jaw, about, you know, a quarter of the way down your neck. And minimum, you want to swatch 3 different shades, bring them all the way down. Whichever one is disappearing into your skin the most is your match.
Yeah. If you're at, let's say, a Sephora and you don't want to put those on your face, like could
take testers home.
Yeah.
I always say, like, don't be afraid to ask an employee for 3 to 4 samples of foundation before you go with one, because
Sephora always gives samples too.
They do. Even if they're busy, just wait and get those samples. Like that's just the best way to do it.
Yeah.
And if you're online, you're trying to guess online, like you can always just return it.
Yeah.
Which is, you know,
it's true.
Unfortunate for the brand, but you know.
We're happy to do it. I wear 03 Light C. It's my go-to.
And I wear 04 Light W.
I do concealer. I like put it in certain places and then blend it completely out because again, I like it as my foundation.
Okay.
And then I like to do some concealer to maybe soften edges of things, or sort of at the end I'll add, you know, like
clean up.
Yeah.
I love concealer to clean up. I clean up everything with concealer. I'm such a fan of that. Okay, so tips on how to prevent creasing.
Yes, under eye creasing.
There's so many tips. And it's such a like delicate area. There are so many chances for things to go wrong in that area. First of all, we have really thin skin under our eyes. It's like the thinnest skin out of our entire face. And it's also a part of the face that has like some of the most like expression and movement. When we're talking, we're squinting and we're always doing like this for the most part. We're always moving our eyes. So if you have too much product under your eye, you're not fully able to like lock it in and like properly dry it down and set it basically.
Right.
No matter what, like it's going to crease.
Yeah.
You know, so I think if you have a creasing problem, first you have to like think about, are you putting too much eye cream under your eye?
Yeah.
Because less is more with eye cream. Like you only need like a tiny bit of eye cream to like have it be effective. So if you have too much, it's not able to actually like penetrate your skin and absorb. So when you put your concealer on top of that, it's just wet on top of wet. And it's not able to actually dry down. If you're prone to creasing, first of all, be careful of like how much product you're putting under your eye. Unless you have extremely dry under eyes, you don't need a ton of eye cream, like so a little less than what you think you would need.
Yeah.
Start with that, let it have like ample time to dry down and absorb into your skin before you go in with your concealer. You know, unless you need a ton of coverage, you don't need to glob it on under your eye.
Yeah.
I always start with a thin layer of concealer. I blend it out, I let it dry down, and then I'll put another thin layer of concealer, let it dry down, then blend it out, and then set it. It's like working in thin layers.
Yeah.
It takes longer.
Yeah.
So if you're in a hurry, well,
lean into your creases.
Exactly, lean into them, or just don't wear concealer, honestly.
Yeah.
But also make sure you are setting your concealer. Just from like how I talk to a lot of people online, the general idea that I get is that people are afraid to put powder on their eyes because they say their under eyes are dry, and I totally get that.
Yeah.
But you still need a small amount to lock in that liquid product.
Yeah.
Or you're just gonna crease,
right?
You know? Another thing I like to do is if I just wanna do like a small amount of concealer, but I want to still have like that coverage and that color payoff, I'll apply it and I'll let it almost fully dry down before I blend it.
Yeah, I do that too.
Yeah, it like kind of self-sets, which is a great tip too, because you end up needing to set it with very minimal powder.
Yeah.
And it gives you like a good full coverage look.
I definitely do that under eyes.
This feels so nice under my eyes. It's like a creamy drink of water.
We love a drink of water.
It feels so nice.
With some nice coverage.
Yeah, but it's very natural.
This is our #1 product.
Is it? I can totally see why. Back to creasing with your concealer is I wouldn't actually go in and set my concealer until almost towards like the very end of my makeup application.
Yeah.
That way I can blend out any creases that would happen as I'm like talking and doing the rest of my makeup. And then you really get a good chance of like having little to no creasing throughout the day. So I'm gonna let this chill.
Yeah.
And just set. Yeah.
I do the same. I'll do powder at the end. Sometimes I forget to like
buff it in.
blend because otherwise you're setting your creases.
Yeah,
You
you're
know?
literally like locking it in. One thing I actually wanted to talk about is the fact that this bronzer and like very, very few other powder bronzers, I can actually put that on top of wet skin and it doesn't like get patchy and skip. It goes on like very smooth. So if you want, we can jump to bronzer.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. That looks really pretty. You're just so pretty.
You're so pretty.
Anything on your face. So one thing
This is not why I had Nikki on.
No, not for compliments.